BBQ has no wins on the red side.
Yep.
The blue side has been favored, so for a team with 3 match wins, that may not be super surprising, but everyone else has at least a single win on the red side, and Ever8, they're on blue. They don't have as many force bans, and they're like, nope, not going to deal with the Twitch again.
It was well handled in game 1, but not this time around. Rumble also taken off the board.
It's already 2 changes in the bans. Blue side bans game 1, Talia, Elise, Zach. So maybe we'll see some of those pesky junglers making it through.
Really taking their time with this one as they try to piece things together. Elise will still be banned away. Not seen her open in those first 2 games as expected. Just too high priority at the moment.
It's surprising to see it banned on blue. You know, very good first pick, but not going to be left open. Speaking of not being left open, we will not be seeing Syndra in this game. I feel like Scepted in these sort of spots is going to just default onto Ultra Comfort, which to him is the Orianna this season, but could still be the Jace. Going to be harder to draft given that Rumble and Elise are both away from the champion pool, so finding magic damage is a little bit more tricky. Comeback hasn't been playing so much of the Zyra and stuff, and BBQ, they do what a lot of people have called for. We will not be seeing Galio in game 1. Galio's been a comeback champion, even though Scepted played it once.
Thank you, BBQ.
You thought you were praying to the gods. Were you praying to the fried chicken gods?
I am thanking the Roosters right now.
Well, the Roosters aren't completely lowered yet.
They're hovering around half mast.
Still in position to be raised.
Yeah. Could very well see him raised by the end. Caitlyn has finally made it through the draft for duel. He will pick this up.
Over the likes of Ashe.
I mean, really, he has to have a good performance on this Caitlyn to earn, A, the bans that received in games 1 and 2, and for this first pick that comes up, because, I mean, Lee Sin still on the table for Malrong there, but we're not going to see that come out yet.
Most played this season has been the Caitlyn, so there's comfort there. 2 and 2 on the pick. KDA not outstanding. And BBQ very high priority on Talia. Taking it first rotation. Talia versus Galio wasn't a happy hunting ground for Ever8, but I wasn't a big fan of the Talia draft in general. Now, a lot of Scepted's champion pool is kind of self-counter pick into the Talia. Talia has a good laning phase against Orianna, even if the late game can go Orianna's way. So where will Scepted go in this scenario? Jace not fantastic against Talia either. The Aurelion Soul Dream seems like a too far away one, but we all sit there and pray.
Well, Braga's coming in. Expected for Bless. Actually had a pretty decent game. At least early on, setting up those picks, getting the flash body slam straight into the explosive cast.
And Malrong will get to go back on Kha'Zix, which are banned on blue side.
Okay, nope.
Interesting. He moves away from it, so it was a blue ban of Kha'Zix the previous game, and Scepted just says screw it, Orianna, kind of like I expected. So this is a good Talia draft, I think, where he was pretty confident that Orianna will be the selection for Scepted, and it has pressure on the champion pool of Scepted. So a fan of what BBQ did there on the red side, even if it looked like a reach given other Talia priorities so far this season. Bit of disagreement among the members of BBQ about what to draft in this spot. We'll just be going for the Jarvan most likely.
Do you see it locked in?
Likely to be top lane, so top lane, jungle, and mid lane. Top side of the jungle, sorry, top side of the map has been selected here by BBQ. Whereas Ever8 have the ultimate, let's just farm to late game comp with the Orianna and Caitlyn so far put together. They'll be looking for a pressure lane onto the Jarvan, so Renekton might be a smart ban to come out from the side of BBQ.
We'll start with the Fiora. So maybe just double bans out there.
Yeah, Fiora Renekton would take away a lot of the good options from the Jarvan. I don't see Helper going to Cassiopeia or something a bit crazier like we've seen already today. But Ever8 will want a pressure lane in top if they can get it. Hard for BBQ to kind of answer. Once Caitlyn's come in, all bets are off when it comes to smashing lane, barring some real crazy stuff like Ziggs, for example. That doesn't always work. Will we see that Renekton ban coming out from BBQ?
Taking their time here. Could still see it. Maybe they want to pinch down onto the support pool, and yes, they will. And actually, it's going to be the Tahm Kench coming through. So do we see Totoro try to pick up the Thresh, or do we just see it banned away by Ever8? There we have it.
They draw a ban, but don't ban away Renekton. It's the interesting kind of trade that happened there. The respect being shown for Totoro jumping onto Thresh when the Tahm Kench was down. Now we're on BBQ looking for bot lane. So usually we see AD carry drafted here and then support taking last pick to guarantee up a lane. This kind of tells you Xayah and Rakan if Xayah is taken. Xayah and Rakan also looking very powerful given they have double engage already. This bounce castle never stops Achilles. If the grand entrance, quickness, seismic shove. The Sky Dunk here could be the Sky Dunk of all time. Michael Jarvan is desperately needed for this game.
I mean, there is so much zone control here from the side of BBQ.
If only the knockups were kind of like stacked, then the Michael Jarvan would have been a space dunk.
Okay. Well, hasn't been locked in yet, and it will be in the end.
Now, it sounds surprising given that Shen priority's been down, but their best performing top laner has been Shen, 2-1 on the season. Comeback. 2 people to hook out of 2 here. Not really a big fan of hooking the Kragus or the Jarvan. Caitlyn does free open some more risky support choices. But if this is going to be Rakan last pick, I really don't like the Blitzcrank into it, given that it does offer a free initiation. They go for the Blitzcrank anyway.
Okay. They'll snatch it up. Says my Thresh. We had to ban it away. So I want to play with hooks still.
And this is another type of knock-up. The Yasuo Wet Dream being assembled on the side of BBQ.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Bouncy Castle. Do they have the gall to pick the Taric into Hachani? And they will.
Really interesting to see Rakan not taken when available. Might just be a reality of where Totoro is at with Rakan. Felt like it would have fit the comp a bit stronger. Also would have given them a level 1 where they can walk up to the Blitzcrank Caitlyn and just deadly plumage them with W. So surprised to see the Taric being picked up here, but basically going to be the ultimate team comp from BBQ. Jump in, pop the ultimate. If the Orianna ult doesn't register before the Cosmic Radiance completes, it's going to be happy times to the side of BBQ. First sighting of Taric this season, I believe, and interesting choice by Totoro, who's always been a fan of the melee supports, but usually the Braum. The Taric is a different beast.
Yeah, definitely an odd one. Especially, I mean, Blitzcrank coming out, Taric coming through. So like you said, not many hook targets that you really want to land on. Or you know, there's so few of them. Here, 4 comeback. Had a very nice game earlier on the Thresh. Started setting things up, almost allowed for that swing back in for Ever8 to close out game 2, close it out with a 2-0, but doesn't get it in the end. But now Blitzcrank, lots of pressure on him, especially to perform.
600 games of solo queue, only 4 on the Rakan with a single victory. No competitive games for the Rakan either. Totoro jumps on the Taric, it's a different choice, and it does render Xayah a bit weaker in lane.
All right, we'll see how it holds up. We'll see who's going to close this one out. This one's for all the marbles. Game 3, Ever8 versus BBQ. Fans still hanging in there with as late as it is in the evening.
BBQ 5-man here. 5-mans are definitely the right way to go against a Blitzcrank, otherwise bad times ensue. Ever8 going for the most obvious invade as Blitzcrank. We've all played solo queue, we've done this before.
You know, push into that side.
Looks like a late invade might be what BBQ are looking to do. This was the Gigabyte Marines. We'll be talking about lane swaps, but nope. Not going to be seeing any of those.
Of course, we got to get the zoom in.
If you guys are unfamiliar with the meme, Korean color caster Dongjun actually cosplayed as Pool Party Tark in the Pool Party Tark official Riot Korea announcement video. Yeah. I was told he starved himself for many months to get the 6-pack abs going. That's the thing about being in a video like that, is that, you know, for the rest of your life, you can be like, well, that's me.
Yeah.
Even if you let yourself go, you still have a video to point to.
For the rest of his life, Cloud Templar is a girl.
That's quite polarizing between the two color casters, you have to say.
One is a handsome gentleman with long, flowing blonde hair, and the other is just a woman.
Hey.
A gorgeous woman.
That's true. A rare beauty, I would call it.
Yes.
There's not many quite like
and
her.
acquired taste. His Cloud Templar. Oh. Well, yeah, nothing happening off the cheeky invade setups, and Septed already going to start getting punished a bit here in that mid lane.
I say I'm a fan of what BBQ have done in the draft this time. Ever8, it's not quite game 2 where I was endlessly frustrated, but I love the Taliyah draft in the spot against the player it was. As a blanket statement, no, against the likes of Septed and where he was likely to go in this scenario. Now, Orianna has been his best performing champion in terms of just watching him play, but definitely not in terms of win rate.
Oh, look at this, though. Steps very far forward, flashes in, just to get the dissonance down.
He does also path over to Bless, who's here for a counter gank.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead, body slam
Nice.
forward. Septed goes down first and foremost, and Malrong missing out on the Sonic Wave, now has to retreat, wants to hold on to that flash as best as he can. Comeback is here to back him up, but really disjointed play. Malrong not in a position to collapse in when Septed flashed in.
And solidly baited from the side of BBQ as well. That was really good mental fortitude. Bless waited his time. He knew that there would be a spot the moment they saw Lee Sin and also the Orianna expose themselves, and he'll even get a bonus of being able to steal away the blue buff. So nice opening salvo from the side of BBQ.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned the mental fortitude there for the side of BBQ and Bless, but maybe it's a lack thereof being displayed by Septed.
Weird after how well game 1 went for the side of Ever8. Bad omen if we see more players like that. You know, for the first play, you can be a bit higher expectation, give the benefit of the doubt, but if there's a bit more of that over-chasing, then you start to wonder. Wrong spot lane.
Come back pushing forward, the hook's not going to connect, and it's like, well, there goes the gank. So, nothing more to come of that.
Still, if you hit it, you know, there was 2 targets. Either one most certainly would have died.
It's just so transparent because he's standing on top of the trap as well.
It's Blitzcrank. A lot of what he does is pretty transparent.
Yeah.
There's Blitzcrank in a really weird spot also. That the Rakan would have been the ultimate punishment, but Taric can certainly turn fights with the Cosmic Radiance in a similar way. They already have enough gauge on the side of BBQ as well. Really nice trades from Ghost here. Duel is surprisingly low health given he's on the Caitlyn duty.
He's just getting messed up. Bless now waiting in the wings. It's not spotted, I believe, and Tempest here as well. Not level 6 in a Weaver's Wall.
Really early roam, but you can see the question mark ping coming out from Septed.
Malrong forced to use the smite. Seismic Shove comes through. We'll get the shield out from Septed, but Bless is nearby. Not sure if they're aware of this, but it seems like he's just going to go back to base.
See you, Oktoberfest grabs.
And Helper, he's not having a good time.
Yeah, every lane's going better than expected for the side of BBQ. Bot lane, we saw the big health lead for Ghost over Caitlyn. Mid lane, already the bait has put Septed back a little bit. Only a couple of CS. And top lane, kind of predictably, wasn't really a way in your head you could think of a Shen matchup where he had a health lead over Jarvan, and predictably did not. Worth noting that on 7-11, Caitlyn did see some nerfs. Bigger nerf, I think, than a couple people appreciated. We already saw everyone kind of give up on Hurricane at the end of week 2, despite the fact that the Hurricane interaction was still there. It's officially gone now, so Hurricane is heavily deprioritized, likely to be something like the Rapid Fire Cannon Shiv, or maybe throw in a Phantom Dancer somewhere there. But the other change was to reduce base attack speed and give a bit more attack speed at level 1. So it doesn't affect level 1 last hitting, but base attack speed is so important because every attack speed item from there builds upon the base attack speed. So the double Zeal evolution item build was nerfed.
Nice body slam there, interrupting Malrong. So they just trade back and forth.
Caitlyn was too strong, so
yeah,
nerfs to her just fine.
That's definitely the moral of the story.
I think just a Hurricane nerf, she still would have been just as powerful almost, but now she does get some adjustments, so late game at double Zeal item, she is weaker.
Well, Comeback's just hanging out, doesn't have an ADC in the bottom lane yet. So we'll just go ahead and recall. Would have been actually better if he walked back down, because there's 2 control wards that he could have spotted on the way. But we'll see how long they remain for BBQ. At the moment, just about 800, 900 gold in the lead. That first blood helping him out.
The thing about drafting a Blitzcrank into a Xayah is that Xayah can just ult out of the hook.
Featherstorm. You do nothing.
Feels like one of Taunt, Kick, Shockwave, and Blitzcrank hook. You know, some of them will be sidestep, but they do have the Xayah ultimate for the surprise factor.
It feels like you're basically going to have to like flash Silencer with the Blitz ult into a knockup, into the hook, perhaps, to CC here long.
Could have the ball on the Blitzcrank as well.
That's true. That would help.
You don't often see the Blitzcrank ball carrier play, but possible.
Either way, unless Balrog can land the Sonic Wave, seems like somebody's going to have to be flashing into the face of that Xayah. Now, though, going to be a bit of an exchange up here in the top lane. Tiamat is there for Crazy. So managing pretty well, also has the Corrupting Potion, so he should be pretty healthy at the end of that. Accepted. Seismic shoved back in, worked low yet again.
Actual penetration very early coming through from Tempt. Looks like he'll be cribbing a page from the Book of Crown. With a earlier Leandries. You saw Scepted forced into a much earlier than he would have liked Void Staff in Game 2 because of the Galio factor. Thankfully, we are spared from Galio in Game 3. I asked for a Galio game, not more. One a night.
That's fair. Ace in the hole, just try to weaken Ghost and maybe push him out of this lane.
As you push your microphone away. It sounded like you were getting far away. You're like, ah.
I'm unfortunately entrenched in this game at the moment.
Are they supposed to be like bugging out like that?
Yeah, I don't think so. The water is like...
Oh, for a second,
it's like electrified.
It feels like I'm watching the Wolfenstein trailer again. Wolfenstein 2, we should say. No, not the game from 1990 or whenever it came out.
Something of the colossal something.
I was distracted.
Wolfenstein 2, Shadow of the Colossus, HD.
That would have been at the Sony press conference.
It was.
Not the Wolfenstein part.
Yes.
Well, piling onto the top lane is a possibility here.
They say hello. Helper's already going low. Seismic shove comes through. Dashes just to the side. Doesn't really create any distance.
And then flagged to death.
And then, yep, he just gets that dropped on his face. So he goes down. Another kill on the board for BBQ. We now have a lead. They're chipping away looking for that first brick.
And I love it when BBQ are playing like this. Sure, Ever8 played well in Game 1 with a rotational comp. The moment they got the Talia into Orianna, the same sort of play was available in Game 3 to BBQ, and they make it happen well. They don't even need to invest the Weaver's Wall. Shen had no way to turn around the fight. Jungler wasn't in the right quadrant either for the side of Ever8, so kind of academic on their side. I'm still not understanding what's going on here.
I don't know. Just a nice little, hidden feature.
I love my hidden features.
They haven't had that many hidden features.
Riot Games is nerfing hidden features by providing all the actual features.
It's unfortunate. I love my hidden ones.
But they found them all. We had a stash of hidden features and they found them all.
They need to patch in some new ones. Content update, DLC.
A content update, deletion of content.
Yeah. I need more spaghetti.
Well, BBQ are also going to make an adjustment. They see an Ocean Drake and they say, well, wouldn't it be fun to take Shen's turret? 10 minutes into the game, so a bit later than some of these lane stops we've seen. But Caitlyn and Blitz are already in position.
Might have a fight as Tempest roaming up. Weaver's Wall's available. Why do I get myself excited over these things?
You know better.
I should.
You're a veteran LCK caster at this point.
Feels old, man.
Way ahead of you.
That's true. You have me beat.
Power here is also the draw of the Rift Herald. That's why we see everybody having a top lane party at 11 minutes. The Rift Herald we've seen before can get very angry.
Yeah, she's just chasing them away from her pit.
When Atlas and I cast, the Rift Herald was chilling at enemy Raptors for minutes. That was a hidden feature.
Don't talk about angry Rift Heralds. Look at that Renegade's Dig game.
It's a fair point. Different Rift Herald then, but the executions were legendary.
Yeah. Same rage.
I talked to Crumbs about it. He didn't have much to say.
Oh, well, there's a hook in onto Totoro. Knocked up. Silence. Kickback comes through, and Balrog finishes him off with that resonating strike. Kill on the board for Ever8.
Yeah, definitely no way for Totoro to get out of that one. The Cosmic Radiance wouldn't have armed fast enough, so didn't use a cooldown, didn't flash or exhaust either. Let's see what Ever8 can get done in the top side. We already mentioned the top side is the Rumble Pit because of the draw. This objective you see on the screen, that is the Rift Herald.
Ward in the back of the pit, though. They're aware of this, and Tempt is already getting in position. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, the scuffle breaking out. It's crazy. Just looks to get the solo kill on the Helper. He's going to flash away. Flash forward. A couple more hits will do it. Gets the shield.
Wait out the shield. Q should kill him.
Slows him up. One more hit will do it. There we go. Dragon Strike. Takes him down. Rift Herald does go over to Ever8 as Balrog picks it up.
They're gonna lose a lot of turret damage in bot lanes. They need to make the Rift Herald work. Turret pretty healthy. Crazy doesn't need to back away because he can infer that the Rift Herald was taken down by multiple members on the top side. He already solo killed the Shen. Shen has no teleport either.
I mean, look at this. The mistiming on the recalls as well on the top side of the map means that first brick is just going to go over to BBQ.
Crazy chooses to back away because, as you say, he already has the guarantee of top side. Scepted from game one. Could take note of Crazy showing a bit more respect around the bottom side when his team is getting an objective on the top. As watch for the dodge field here, because that's usually the most important factor. It's down now. Crazy's like, well, the dodge field is down. I'm going to all in you. Had already hit item timings well. Helper, of course, was turret dived earlier and put gold into items like a longsword into Tiamat. Believe he had Tiamat already at this juncture. Tiamat doesn't help you when you're being Dragon Strike to death.
If he had just dashed upward, thought he had the juke. But Crazy says nah.
And that's a significant CS advantage for Crazy. He is up 50 CS, roughly, over the Shen. And Shen has also put 1,200 of his small amount of gold into Tiamat. So given how far ahead Crazy is, who knows, you can probably do that again.
Yeah, I mean, what's mitigating? Dodge field, ninja timing, that's it. And Crazy's got the page. And Comeback is playing on 90 ping.
Sounds like an excuse, but of course it's playing on a LAN client, so you're having a bit of a laugh over there. But it's also, if Comeback doesn't hit the hooks, while Crazy has kill pressure onto the 2-level behind Shen, that's a bigger problem, Achilles, because Comeback needs to be hitting the hooks because they will lose out in bot lane in almost every way.
Yep. I mean, goes forward with the taunt. Crazy takes a little bit of damage.
If he knows that the taunt field, the dodge field is down, he can just kill the Shen. It is going to be back up now. Right now, his burst range in one combo with an auto attack is probably about 30% of Shen's health. But it's time to go up again. We'll draw turret aggro. A lot of what he's doing.
Oh, Comeback pushing forward. Bless Totoro nearby.
Dodges the E.
Yeah, doesn't land it. Cosmic Radiance now coming through, and Comeback's going to be cut off as that Weaver's Wall comes down. Balrog here to join them. And Helper arrives with the stand united. Tempt to try to push forward, try to keep Tempt out of the fight as he goes in. Throws in the dissonance, but Tempt is still trading back pretty well. Has the heal to keep himself healthy. And it seems like nobody's going to go down.
The cooldowns didn't really lead to much there.
This will be the summon, though, into the mid lane with that Rift Herald. Everybody else is kind of disjointed up on the top side of the map.
Yeah, Gragas doesn't even have Smite to decrease the opening damage, so goodbye mid lane turret, you are dead.
Will be taken out. Let's see how much they can get done onto that tier 2. In the meantime, Ghost is still splitting up towards the top side. Seems like they're just going to abandon the Rift Herald. That are going to charge in, and that's going to be the end of it.
Yeah, Tempt was able to actually get around the back and get one auto attack in, which significantly reduce the amount of burst damage on the inner turret, but good summoning of the Rift Herald there by Ever8. That was a smart decision from them. Haven't necessarily had the same consistency of high-level decision-making in this particular series to match game one, where they weren't flawless, but they were pretty close to it. Get the mid lane turret, which is always an objective to strive for, especially in a high wave clear mid lane matchup like Tilia versus Orianna. And the mid lane turret being down, I remember when I used to cast China in Season 3, we would always call the mid lane turret the OMG turret because that meant Big Pomelo on the Blitzcrank support could roam around and get hooks. So a lot more space for Comeback to make plays around the mid lane.
BBQ, though, they're looking proactive. Move down towards this bottom side. Will take out that turret, so put another one on the board for themselves and bring it almost to about 3,000 gold here at 17 minutes, so much more concise for them. Ever8 will be able to trade this top one, but BBQ, they're looking for a tier 2.
Man, I mean, there's nothing Shen can do.
He's just going to get popped at right out of the dodge field. Gets a nice little taunt, but will still go down in the end as Wes is more than happy to go ahead and take this up. Couple more hits. Can they finish him off? There we go.
He dodged a lot of skill shots, so credit to Helper. Lasted longer than I would have expected. Mid lane, Scepted and Crazy are dueling, but Tempt is here too.
Yeah, throws out that shockwave.
It's going to just take away the Banshee Veil there.
Yeah, doesn't get anything else. But inner turret down in the bottom lane here for BBQ.
They're trading up as Ghost is still working on his item build. Spikes so hard on the side of the Xayah at 3 items and 2 also. Once you start to get higher critical strike values, getting more damage out of your E can be very relevant as well. So in scenarios like that, when they have a really good rotational comp with the Taliyah also, important for them to gain these leads, and they turn on to the Ocean Drake. Will be the first of the game. Very late, 18 minutes.
Yeah. Chunking this one out, come back, trying to get that hook steal. Won't be able to find it. Tosses it out over the wall. Gets picked up there by BBQ. So Ocean Drake over to them. Mountain will be the next one to follow up in 6 minutes' time. And honestly, some vision control around that top side of the map. We could see a very early Baron attempt for BBQ.
When the Mountain's in, certainly. Baron speed's good for them. Taliyah's kind of deceptive because it doesn't have necessarily the Liandry's yet, and there's not a lot of worked ground you can dodge around the Baron pit. Xayah very good at Baron, but still working on her item build. A lot of control wards around the Drake to have lost it for Ever8. It's kind of one of those things. So if you put 3 control wards down and lose an objective, that's pretty significant interest. So investment for no gain. And I don't even mean the gold, I mean League of Legends kind of become push lanes and play around vision. And if you've invested into something you only have 5 of, which are those control wards at one time, you just can't make the percentage plays you want to or that you've set up for.
Well, Crazy moving back down towards that bottom side of the map. It's just 23 CS away from getting a 20-minute Flame Horizon just about.
Didn't even mention it, but Huni had a pretty inconsequential Flame Horizon over his opponent on that Cassiopeia top in game 1.
Well, turret will be taken by the look of things here from Ever8. Push forward's coming in, however, from Ghost and Totoro as they look for another inner turret. Still be them trading up in the best way possible, and you can see Scepted will be drawn over here to try to defend this, as Helper is helpless at this point.
That's just the nature of Shen in these scenarios. Scepted drawn, though.
Dazzle comes down. Cosmic Radius not yet pushed out, and Crazy's going to be TPing in. Weaver's Wall comes in, Scepted cut off, lands a shockwave, but over the wall comes Crazy with the flag, and Drag pops him up. They take him down, and that should be the inner turret going over to BBQ.
Wonderful Weaver's Wall positioning coming in from Tempt. He's on comfort. We all remember that pentacle right at the start of spring. We complimented BBQ for drafting the Taliyah against a player who has shown that he's often going to draft himself an Orianna or other picks that lose to Taliyah in the pressure wall. But it's also making the Weaver's Wall work. That is kind of the double whammy there. So pressure advantage, roam to shut down Helper. One of the reasons that Helper died in the laning phase was that. And speaking of shutting people down,
back, flashes in with the Dazzle, pops him up, knocks him back. And Duel just gets deleted. Beautifully pulled off by BBQ. Fantastic wraparound. Another turret down. Now 5-3. Gold lead stretching over 5,500.
And a counterpoint to game 2 where they made a lot of mistakes around this phase of game. Much better for BBQ. They want their first match win.
Flag and drag forward. Cataclysm comes down. Scepted flashes out to keep himself alive. As another turret falls. The last inner being taken. Come back going low. As Ghost just keeps firing off with those feathers. Won't be able to find the kill, but BBQ have just swept the outer base of Ever8.
Now we're in that weird, pesky scenario where we come back to the Blitzcrank draft. Blitzcrank really offers them so little. When it was picked, that this wasn't likely to be any hook targets.
See, that's not what I thought your point was going to be.
No. I'm going to stay away from that particular ground. But Ever8 already, I feel like they don't have a lot of tools to win this game. You know, we said that about BBQ in the stranglehold they were in game 2, and the game went a long time after that. But even taking the mid lane turret, Comeback has had no great opportunities for hooks. Septed is farmed up. This is the first Septed Orianna game where he didn't look like a star in spite of his team losing around him. This is just him being out-pressured and outplayed by the enemy Taliyah.
I'm not sure where you thought I was going to go with it, but I was going to say that pesky time where all the easy objectives have been taken by BBQ, and now they have to make some difficult decisions to close out the game.
I get that theory, and you're right, but remember they have Totoro, so they have a go button. Even if they're turret diving, they already showed they got a flash out of Septed just basically in trade for the EQR and the R from Totoro on the Cosmic Radiance. So Cosmic Radiance can make difficult objectives easier.
Weaver's Wall coming through here. Temp trying to cut off Septed and Mulrong as he just finds out. Dragon's Rage comes through. Shockwave will connect as Temp goes dangerously low. Can he make it out of here safely? Dazzle coming through. They lock up Mulrong. Can he actually stay alive? Will go down right at the last second. The heal not enough to keep him up. Septed's trying to retreat. Will be spotted out by a couple wards. Bless. Seems like it's now his duty to go ahead and deal with that Orianna. Shoving him back, Hook comes through from Comeback.
Watch Ghost!
I mean, it's just sending him to his own grave. Flag and drag forward, Crazy flashing in, looking for Helper, will take him out, and now Jewel.
Ghost a monster!
Featherstorm coming through, Ghost just ripping him apart. Takes him down, a double kill over to him, and Septed still just running for the hills. Bless, I mean, just keeping him busy, making sure that there's nobody there.
Septed Ghost here, he wants to kill Bless.
Oh, flashes away, gets the explosive cask. And Septed's still pushing forward, trying to find it.
He just lived from actually getting a proc of the Courage of the Colossus.
Wow.
The shield actually kept him alive from the auto attack. For sure, Septed thought he picked up the kill. He's walking in wards. He's probably not going to want to execute. Tempt is coming back. That's an awkward spot to have.
Yep, it's going to be, well, here's the Dazzle. There's Flag and Drag, and he will go down.
BBQ, they don't break the base, but they break the hearts of Ever8 winners, turret diving and getting a triple kill over the side of Ghost, who wants to continue at 100%, but probably has his teammate Crazy to compete with, who has been one of the big stars of this Game 3. Ever8 played so clean with Septed jumping on his trademark Jace in Game 1, though we thought it could be a short series. Game 2 meandered, but BBQ largely had the inside track to the victory, and Game 3 has been a BBQ showpiece.
Yeah, it has just been an absolute stomp. We've seen stranger turnarounds, but now with this Baron, it seems like BBQ, unless Miraculous Seal were to be there, but nobody from Ever8 is even playing around that top set of the map.
No, they can't fight here. You know, they will lose every 5v5 fight. There's no 5v5 fight they win. Even if they hook in Ghost, he'll ult, and they'll still lose the fight. So, smart of Ever8. You know, it sounds weird that they trade Baron for a Mountain Drake is smart, but at least it helps with wave clear a little bit, and they would never have gotten the Baron. Would have certainly lost a couple of members as well. Doesn't mean they're out of position, though. Here's the teleport. They want to rush down this Nexus turret, sorry, this inhibitor turret.
Yeah, keeping the minions alive. With that TP, turret will fall very swiftly because Ghost is just an absolute monster on this Zaya. Pushing forward, clearing out the waves yet again. Diving straight back into the back line with the Cataclysm. Septed's going to get knocked into the wall. He's going to die first and foremost as Ghost finds the kill. And they get more. Hook into the pop-up comes through as Totoro goes low and will go down. Jewel finally finding something here for his troubles. That might have just been enough to delay this push from BBQ.
Yeah, we'll get the recalls now. Killing the turret, obviously not going to be the biggest war chest there in terms of gold picked up or even experience, but it does delay the game. Ever8 will slowly be able to just hope against hope that something could change. But the kill score, the gold lead, everything is rough reading for a lot of the Ever8 fans that came in so hopeful. They gained a lot of fans with their early performances, Septed especially. This has been a rare down game for Septed. People will say broken by Faker, and we can't know that is the truth, but you certainly look at it and you think, definitely could be.
You can definitely connect those dots. As unfortunate as it is for Septed, so much promise from this guy, but this is just not a great showing at the moment.
Yeah, some players are forged in the fire, some players do wilt in those same scenarios. Should be a learning experience. I feel like there's, you know, one school of thought where it's like, oh, it's a pleasure to be destroyed by SKT because you learn what the game could be, but not everyone reads the game or has the same psychology.
Hurt me, Faker.
Those are the people I like in solo queue, for example, who, you know, when Faker comes to town, they're like, it's a pleasure to lose to them.
It's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you for smashing me.
I mean, would you like to play soccer with Pele? Would you be offended if he got 30 goals on you? Probably not. You're like, whoa, I got to play with the best of all time, or Maradona, or more recently, Messi or Ronaldo. Like,
yes, I know some of these names.
There you go. I feel like the same should be there for Faker, but very, very difficult for everyone to read the situation the same way. Base so close to being pierced in 2 more spots.
Yeah, Totoro just eating up those headshots, barely taking any damage. Ooh, hook from comeback. Almost connects on the Ghost. Dangerously close there, but just can't quite find it.
Waiting for the minion waves to be escorted. Shen having the time of his life, clearing super minions in the top lane.
It's just an honor for him. Cataclysm in, finds 2. They'll both go ahead and jump over the wall. Burnett takes Duel out to safety, but the turret's now been broken. A second inhibitor under siege. And Stand United there from Helper just to try to keep his team intact.
No kills, but no way to keep the mid lane inhibitor intact. They won't be able to just tank up the 3rd inhibitor turret. Have to go and ferry the minion wave over, so another little delay on the game.
Still, though, 11.4 thousand in the lead for BBQ. 28 minutes into this one. As they start pushing in, trap line yet again thrown down here by Duel. Still fairly low on this Caitlyn. They run out of minions. Hook almost connects. Tempt flashing away at the last second and get some answering damage on the comeback to shove him back towards that fountain.
Yeah, really good hook onto Tempt. Banshee Veil will be back up though.
Yep, they're looking for the turret yet again. Duel going low, pops the heal, jumps away yet again with a 90 caliber net, keeping himself alive for the moment. Hook comes through. They get the pop up in onto Tempt. They're able to take him out as Duel finds the kill, but BBQ Ghost is still so healthy, firing away from the back line. And it seems like despite their best efforts, finding a kill onto the Taliyah, there's still just so many threats that they have to be concerned with, and a 3rd inhibitor will fall.
And BBQ have the much easier job. They don't need to chase for more kills. Zaya's one of the poorest AD carries at the chase side of things, but not going to be anyone diving onto her. The 3rd inhibitor down. They go back to base. Finally, probably going to be their end-of-game item builds. They look to close. Will be an early close. 30 minutes is going to be the fastest game of this series by far. But very difficult to see how Ever8 have even a hope in hell of changing this game.
That would be the craziest comeback I think I would have seen. One of. 3 inhibs down. No open nexus, but, you know, that would be the icing on the cake.
Require some insane outplay, and also Ghost probably heavily misplaying. We could see crazy flash EQR off screen and die, but...
Was it an MSI, though, that CLG had the 17,000 or something in return?
Yeah,
so.
There was MSI last year?
Yeah. Well, they weren't there this year.
That's true. I wasn't there last year either.
There's been some changes.
That's true. Oh, BBQ. They're playing the let's have all the minions crash in, and good luck hooking something.
Weaver's Wall just going to be tossed out here as they start pinching it around the bottom side.
Well, that really accomplishes.
Kind of denying their own minions from getting to the weakened Nexus turret, so, okay. Well, Tempt has been pretty on point with the Weaver's Wall, so we'll give him that one for free. We'll let him go. But now that's going to be the dive coming in crazy into the backside, jumping in on Decepted. No flash available for him, and the Cosmic Radiance just keeping the Jarvan topped off. Finds the kill, Helper flashing away. We'll be able to stay alive. We'll get healed from that redemption, but the base is going to be broken. 30.5 minutes on the clock as Comeback dies. Crazy will get his GA popped, but that's about the worst thing that happened to BBQ in this series as they finish off the Nexus, as they finish off Ever8, and finally put a win on the board. Ghost just going for these final kills, gets the double at the end, and they do come up with a victory.
The base is broken, the losing streak is broken, and maybe even Ever8 winners are broken, Achilleos, because sure, game 1 looked good. Game 2 and 3 spiraled out of control. Game 3 especially, big mistakes from the side of Ever8, but BBQ do finally get their first match win of the season at the 5th time of asking. They probably would not have had a more straightforward opponent, barring maybe MVP in the very near future before they find a bit more form. At least on paper, better performance from MVP today. Ever8, not a lot of smiles on their side. Comeback has maintained his spot since Series 2. No sign of Eller, their support from Challenger. Ever8 needs to go back to the drawing board, and he do kind of get that creeping feeling that this may not be the last time that we see Ever8 winners in the near future on the losing end.
Yeah. Seeing Helper here especially taking it pretty hard at this Shen. Not holding up at all in that matchup. Just getting absolutely destroyed by Crazy's J4.
Outplayed, honestly. We've seen Shen's outplay a lot of matchups. Very good into Fiora, for example, if you're going to play a tank. But I think he mismanaged the dodge field quite a lot. Went to a longsword very early, trying to match wave clear, and then wasn't tanky enough. Had a lot of issues there, Helper. We said the same thing about his Gragas getting solo killed by Marin 3 times in the same game. So some things for him to work on. The level up to LCK, the step up is high. You know, honestly, it's not a straightforward move. Kongdu Monster felt that multiple times. And BBQ Olivers, they've always kind of been around relegation, but have not been relegated since they entered as ESC Ever. And they'll be hoping that this is the start of something more fruitful for them.
Sure. Future is as bright as they can make it here for these guys. Finally have that win on the board. And hopefully for their sakes, it's nowhere but up from here. But Ever8, another shattering loss for these guys. After being destroyed by SK Telecom T1, now suffer a loss at the hands of the 10th place team.
And 2 games can really change a season. You know, if they had beaten this team of BBQ 2-0, maybe you get the Spectres of Saturday out. But in this manner, getting a good game in, then losing 2 more, and then now it is a streak. You know, it is a losing streak for Ever8.
Well, tight knit here, as you can see from Tempt and Ghost, with the Taliyah and that Xayah just neck and neck as they top the charts, they top the game, and they just really dismantle Ever8.
I like the drafts from BBQ in Game 2 and 3. Sure, Game 2 went on too long, but I like the draft they put forward in Game 3. I really like what they did here. Sure, if we're going to split hairs, I would have loved Rakan over Tart, but the Tart was used really well, and you were talking about, okay, is this the time that we're going to all stall out? Guess what? Cosmic Radiance, EQR, and Jarvan was going as hard as possible. Your MVP will be that Jarvan. It's the first time that the MVP will not be claimed by Ghost. This time it is his teammate Crazy. The moment he started solo killing Shen, that sinking feeling for Ever8 started to overwhelm.
Yeah. 708, deathless, and 88% kill contribution, finds that first MVP victory for himself. And it was just a great job on the J4 for him. Put on a clinic, and I mean, just outplaying Helper.
He just waited on the dodge field, ulted, and he said, okay, you don't have taunt up, you don't have anything but the ability to take free damage. Helper flashed away. Tried to juke with taunt, but of course taunt takes time to cover ground.
And he juked right into the Dragon Strike anyway.
He did, you're right. So, outplayed by Crazy, nothing else you can say, and then you need someone to go all in. You know, when you have the target, it should be easier, but we've seen teams with crazier turret dive comps be petrified of actually pulling the trigger. And so many times this game, he did pull the trigger. He did do his job. So welcome return to form for Crazy, who had quite a lot of hype around him at the start of spring season. Didn't meet those expectations over the course of that spring season. Poor start to summer, but maybe Jarvan 4, finally, he's played himself into form.
Yeah, and yeah, comeback, just the hook that he never wanted. Leading to those kills just coming through, the base being shattered, and then the final little push forward here. Close to the final push.
Yeah, great hook onto the Taliyah, but you saw the shield come in, Taliyah goes down. Ghost free hitting. This time they didn't look for more kills, they just took the inhibitor. Won't see the last fight, but that was Crazy. Got Cosmic Radiance, EQR, goodbye Orianna, goodbye hopes of Ever8 winners, and we get our first MVP interview with the BBQ Olivers for the season.
Yeah, definitely a special one here for these guys. Let's go ahead and throw over to Joel for our final translation of the night and see what they have to say. Joel, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your last interview translation of today, and we are here with BBQ Olivers, who pick up actually a 2-1 victory over Ever8 winners, and we are here with today's MVPs, Crazy and Ghost, for the interview. Ghost and Crazy, how long has it been since we saw you guys in the interview? It was a really tough win to get of the series, and getting that first win of the season feels good though. And Crazy seemed to be in disbelief of what's happening right now. Yeah, even during practices, our performances haven't been good, so it was really hard for us to expect a win anytime soon. But I think we really played our hearts out today and really got the deserved win, so I feel really happy about that. And I'm sure, you know, getting those consecutive losses must have been tough on you guys. Were there any special conversations between the teammates and the coaching staff? With today's matches, we had the mindset of we must win this game, and you know, ever since coming to the stadium today and even in the booth, and we were really just had the winning mindset. And of course, Crazy, what do you think the reason for those lack of performance for the BBQ recently? Yeah, I think it was kind of individual mistakes that we made, and you know, getting camped in specific lanes. That really made it tough for us, and I think we weren't able to recover back from those momentums that we were shifted away from us. We want to move on to the game itself, and the first game was a loss for you guys. And I'm sure that momentum wasn't on your favor after the first game. Yeah, when we went back to the waiting room after game 1, after getting the loss, but we felt like we actually had what it took to, you know, come back and do a comeback win, and that we had always had belief that we could do that. And the second game was very interesting in the composition that you guys created. It was all about you know, with the Twitch and having all the protection in the world in the front. Yeah, I was fortunate that, you know, I got a good lead in the early game, and I was able to develop that into a very potential strong late game. You know, but ever since, you know, taking the Baron away from us, it was a nerve-wracking moment. But somehow, you know, I made the stealth play with the Twitch, and somehow it worked out. And of course, after that Baron steal, the game was not in your favor, mostly. Yeah, I think we were really gearing on towards the Twitch because it was so strong in the late game, and we were just trying to get a good team fight on with the Twitch. And how was it getting that crucial kill at the end? Yeah, ever since we got the crucial kill, we knew that we had a good chance to win, so it felt good. And it seems like, you know, a lot of the comments with BBQ is that the top lane and the mid lane have a lot of power going forwards. But right now, how do you rate the bot lane right now? You know, sometimes I doubt their skill level, but you know, out of all honesty, they're really great and they really contribute to the team. How do you feel about that comment? Yeah, I do kind of have my nerves during the competition, but once I find my form, I feel like I can perform to my potential. You know, I really always want to strive for a game where I don't make too many mistakes. And you guys banned out all the tank supports, and Hachani or Comeback, he went on with the Blitzcrank support. But how'd you guys situate with that? You know, we were actually we were confused that, you know, whether to pick the Blitzcrank or the Xayah. We had those two choices, but we felt like we always could count on the late game, and of course, if we had the Blitzcrank taken away, we thought of Taric as a possible option. So it was a choice between Xayah and Blitzcrank at that moment. Yeah, we thought that Caitlyn Blitzcrank combo didn't go well, so you know, even if we didn't take the Blitzcrank, they would be stuck with a pretty woeful combo. So we went with that. And third game was a moment where we saw Crazy, the good Crazy, we haven't seen in a long time. And how did it feel to perform so well again?
정말 자신감 있게 게임도 좀 잘 풀렸던 것 같은데 어떠셨어요 게임하면서?
일단 탑은 저는 정글 차이라고 생각하기 때문에
You know, I feel like, you know, getting a good top lane is all due to the junglers, and if your jungler does well, the top lane goes well.
이기면 본인이 잘한 거 아닌가요?
아니야.
Isn't it your credit that you did well? No, I have to give the credit to the jungle.
졌을 때는 제가 못한 비중이 더 크죠.
And if I do bad, you know, it is primarily my fault and not really the jungler's fault.
할 말이 있는데 이 형이 좀 전형적인 탑 그거의 표본이거든요.
And you know, I want to say something that, you know, that Crazy is one of those guys that always stays in top lane. So, you know, if he does bad in top lane, he'll continue to do bad. But if he does well like this today, you know, he's continuing to be doing well.
저는 그거는 솔로 랭크 기준에서 생각하기 때문에 팀
You know, I think about that in my solo queue, but you know, I play differently when I'm in a team.
했던 장면 진짜 멋있었는데 혹시 영상 준비돼 있나요?
일단 뭐 준비된 영상.
We have a video highlight prepared to talk further into this discussion.
여기서부터 다이브서에게
이거 기억나세요? 이 장면?
Do you remember this play?
네네.
그리고 여기서 쉔을 1대1로
And also, you defeated Shen 1v1 here.
쉽지 않았을 때 무슨 생각하면서
What was the thought process in this?
이제 W로 패시브 막으면서 들교하는데
You know, I use the W to apply the passive to, you know, reduce as much damage as I can, and after that, I had enough room to go in and get the kill.
웬만해 또 크레이지의 이런 공격적인 모습
It's been a long time since we've seen the aggressive side of Crazy today, and
저희 1승 했으니까 연승 한번 달려.
you know, I think, you know, getting the first win today, we want to continue on to get more wins in the series.
오랜만에 이겼는데 좀 회식 메뉴가 스페셜하게
Do you guys have any special menu for today's dinner since you guys actually won the game tonight?
감독님이 맛있는 거
We didn't talk about it yet, but you know, I'm sure head coach has in mind what to buy us tonight.
첫 승인데 푸짐하게 맛있는 것도 먹어야죠.
And of course, you know, first game, first win, a chicken dinner should sound nice.
네, 알겠습니다. 자, 이제 1승 신고해서
Finally getting the first win in the season.
지금부터 또 이렇게 많은 분들
And you have a lot of people here out on the stage cheering for you guys.
크레이지 선수가 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
Do you want to say anything to the fans?
저번 스프링 시즌은 연승으로 달리고 좀 패배를 많이 했잖아요.
You know, in the spring season, we had a lot of consecutive wins, and then we started with consecutive losses. But we really want to continue this streak of winning consistently, and we continue to ask for your support. And that's the end of the interview. Back over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Joel. Dedicated fans still hanging out here in the audience. That'll just past 11 p.m. Korean Standard Time. Happy to support BBQ Olivers and ecstatic to see that they finally have a series win.
They should be very proud of their team, specifically for Game 3, which at 30 minutes and 50 was the shortest but also cleanest of the series by far from a BBQ perspective. Ever8 played well in Game 1 as well. A counterpoint was the second game of 3, which was pretty rough, but BBQ were the better team, so you have to say, over the course of the series, well-deserved victory for BBQ. They will not be only defeated for the season, and now look at this. The bottom 4 teams are spread by just a couple of game score, but all only have a single match victory.
Yeah, 1 and 4 on that one. Tied at 7th place is Ever8 Winners and Rocks Tigers, and now BBQ Olivers just barely slinked their way past MVP into that 9th place spot, which is such a weird thing to think about given our standings at the end of spring split. But it's still very early on. There's a lot that can be shaken up as LCK continues, which is going to happen tomorrow with more games that'll be brought to you by Papa Smithy and